Okay, so we're going to talk about Snorkl. In the chat, I would love to know if you have ever used Snorkl or if this is your first time. Like five, you're an expert. One, you are new to Snorkl. That would be helpful. Ooh, hi, friends. Hi, Jess. Lots of ones and twos, so that's good. We're going to roll. This is kind of a tool that you've either seen or you haven't, but it is one that I am so excited about. So let's talk about what it is. So I've got a four, a couple threes, but lots of you are new to this tool. So if you're at Snorkel expert, feel free to jump in and think of add things that I might be forgetting. So for Snorkel, um, sorry, I'm closing my chat right now because I'm on a single little screen. And if there's something there, I'll try to get to that. So Snorkel offers immediate and specific feedback. And I think it's one of the great replacements for Flip or Flipgrid. I don't know about you as tech coaches. I'm sure your year started like mine with Flip's gone. Did you know that Flip's gone? What are we going to use? Anyone else have that problem when all of a sudden your teachers realize there's no Flip and the thing they used to use Flip for, what do they do? I think that Snorkel is a great uh, um, solution to that. So it provides students record not face, but visual and audio on a whiteboard as they answer a question. There's a huge library. We'll look at that. You can give your own question, but then what happens is it gives instant feedback. And then students can know where they need to improve. And what I found is it actually encourages students to intrinsically beat the score that Snorkel gives you. So that's kind of what it does. Let's just dive in and take a look here. So when we get to the website, it's going to look up like a page like this. And I'm at a login page. I don't think I'm sharing a tab. So hopefully you can see inside of my Snorkl. So Snorkl.app now, no E on Snorkl. So Snorkl.app, you get to a screen that looks like this. And the very first thing I want to do is I'm going to go on the middle tile where it says find an activity, because I just want you to see how robust the library of items is in the Snorkl library. So we've got math, science, reading in LA. The general is like, get to know you activities, lots of seasonal activities, lots of Edu Protocol fads in the house. I'm sure there's a whole Edu Protocol session. And then they're really building out their world languages. So I'm from Canada. I know there's a couple Canadian friends in here. Um, Imagine practicing Spanish or French in with an actual tutor. And then there's some social studies and history, and then some specific math tools. So one of the things that I'm most excited about is Snorkel for math. So I'm just going to click on grade 4 math. And you can see here now, this is another whole section of the library. So you've got place value, fractions, multiples, measurement, angles, and shapes. Each one of those is a link to a pre-made assignment. Some of these are from Jump Math, and they aren't as robust maybe, and some are from a few other math programs, but most of them are just math activities. And so I want you to see that there's this huge robust library. So you can poke around in there afterwards, but I want to show you the magic first of all. So there's also a sample activity pack or item here that I would recommend that you take a look at. So if you have math or language arts, social studies, reading, these are all activities where it's basically a student link in here. So if you click on this student link, you get the experience. You don't get the data, you don't see the background, but you get to see it immediately as a student. Now, what I'm going to do is try to get to my slide where I have an activity that I'm going to model for you. So I thought it would be best if I just show you the magic, and then if we have time, you can go ahead and try this app. In fact, if you want to, I'll leave this, there's a QR code there, or if you go to Snorkl, student.snorkl.app, 66VF7N, you can try this one out as well. So I'm going to try to get my There we go. So I'm going to respond again. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. So I'm going to ask for a blank whiteboard and it's going to give me the question. So you can see there, I've got Elena, Tyler, and they have to make a frame for artwork and it's giving me some information. So I've got tools at the top. You can see I have some drawing tools. I'm going to pick green to write in and there's some other tools there. I can also make, well, I can also come over here and it says that I need a frame. So there are some shape tools. So I'm actually just going to draw a frame and I'm going to put that over here. And then you can see we have text eraser and some other tools up there. So I could make a little bit of a setup for my whiteboard before I start recording. So what's going to happen is this whole space is going to be recorded when I press record screen and voice. So I'm going to talk through how I would answer this question, and then we'll see the kind of feedback that comes. Okay, I'm pressing record. Here we go. So I can see that I need a quadrilateral. So I've put a quadrilateral on the screen. I know the perimeter is 146, and I have to find the side. So I know that the length is 29. So I'm going to draw, oops, need a pen tool here. I'm going to say the side is 29. So I know that both sides are 29. And then I need to find the length of the other two sides. So if I double 29, I know if I double 29, I get 60. So I know that in total, both of those sides together, take away 2 is going to be 58. So I need to go 146 as the total minus 58. You can see here I'm just drawing on a trackpad without a pen, so it's a little messy. And so if I subtract that, let's do it this way. I can have 13 and I carry the 1, so I made 88. Okay, so now I know that 88 has to be divided because I have 2 sides left. So 88 divided by 2, and I'm going to get 44 as my answer. Okay, so I think I'm done. I'm going to hit end review. And so what you'll see happening is I could listen to it again. I could have it play back if I click on the play button in the bottom left, and I can speed it up if I wanted to listen to it faster. That's a neat thing if you're checking as a teacher, but really I want you to see what happens, the magic, when I hit submit. So it's going to think. And over here we have the little snorkel percolating, percolating, percolating. Do, 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 do. And the feedback is really great. And I've had the odd instance where I haven't gotten great feedback, but usually I'm pretty impressed with the feedback that it gives. So it's going to give me a score out of 4, and I can turn that off if I want, but it's also going to give me some feedback. So you can see here that it's only given me 3 out of 4. I thought my answer was pretty good. It will tell me what happened. So it says, great job identifying that you need to find a width of a quadrilateral. You correctly recognize this as a rectangle problem. So it's telling me a glow, what I did well. And if you note, it has a timestamp. I can.
Great job identifying that you
Are
need
you
to find the
hearing the
width
lady
of
talk?
quadrilateral with a perimeter.
Okay, so you can hear her. Like, so think about students who struggle or first, whether they're a language learner or whether they're just a new reader or a non-reader, we can hear the oral feedback. That's great. At 39, it says it calculated the side, subtracted. You showed the good reasoning. Could you explain why a rectangular has equal opposite sides to strengthen your explanation? So if you read the very last thing, that's why it didn't give me a 4 out of 4. Could you explain why a rectangle has equal sides to strengthen? So I think that's pretty fussy. I would have given me a 4 personally. Can you hold up how many fingers you would have given my answer? I would have probably given me a 4. Okay, maybe not. Some of you are tough markers, just like Snorkl. But anyways, what happens then is the kids they look around and they say, "Hey, I only got a 3 out of 4. Everyone else is still working." They'll go back without being asked, and they'll press that respond again button up here in the top right, and they'll do that without being asked. That's happened in almost every class that I've been in. Kids just intrinsically want to go back and get their score better. So we can turn off the score. We can even turn off the feedback and only have it for the teacher if we want, depending on our work case. But students do find this powerful. It tells them what they did well, and then it tells them what they can do better. So that is Snorkl. Now I'm going to hopefully be able to get back to my teacher tab. All right, so let's take a look at a few other features. On this particular one, and if you get the deck later and you want to try it as a student, this is one that's actually available. This has drag and drop. So these little purple items on the side, they drag into the tiles. So if your students are on Chromebooks and it's hard for them to type, you can make new drag and drop activities. For my language arts teachers, I've done incredible drag and drop activities with like root words, prefixes, and suffixes. So not just a math tool, but it's really excellent at math. Here's an example of that ELA drag and drop. So what happens is when I made this one myself. So I put some root words, prefixes, and suffixes together, and I said drag them in the box, tell the word, make a word and tell me what it means. That was kind of my idea. So what happens is when I type that in, when I go to make my assignment, I just press let AI make criteria for you. I've got it circled kind of on the bottom right there, and it actually creates the criteria for me. So it says what to do. And what it did is it actually gave me a list of my root words. Like I didn't tell it the words, but it said it divided them. So up above where it says image description, prefixes, root, and suffixes, it actually did that on its own. I didn't have those labeled in any way. It did that. The AI did that. And then it, oopsie, it gave me a list of, oh, sorry, this is going to be tricky. My slide button is right under the annotate on my side. So we're going to talk about this slide. The AI editing is great, but I can go in like, so in this activity that I just modeled, I might have thought 3 out of 4 was too difficult for, can I turn that off? No, I can't turn that off. Okay, I'm going to get back here. There we go. I might have thought that my the AI was too critical, so I can go in and I can change the criteria to make it fit better with what I want it to be for students. So another thing here, we were looking at this one. You can see here in the bottom left, you can change whether you show the score, so you can have it show to teachers or both or none. And then you can also tell whether it tells if it was correct or incorrect. You can turn some of those off. So there's quite a bit of uh, fine tuning that you can do. You can have a guest login. I don't know about your districts, but in our district, we're still not able to have kids log into an AI tool directly with their email address. If that's your situation, you log in with a join code, just like you would join like a Pear Deck activity or a Kahoot. And so you can turn on that guest login. Again, if you want to go back to my deck, there's those practice ones in there, or you can practice from the ones that are in Snorkl, but you can do that with a guest login. You can add guest teachers, so that's nice. Then it also has, so in the coaches or in your teacher dashboard, it has a progress item. So you can see it tells if you have a class that comes in regularly, you can see what they've finished or haven't finished. You can see their marks at a glance. And then on the bottom right here, this is a student's activity. You can see what they have completed or haven't completed. So it does have some nice progress pieces, and that is being built out more and more all the time. And this is another new piece here. It gives insights or summaries. So you can see it's in the Insights tab. And so in the top row, it says these students nailed it, right? These ones did well. They did a good job. Take a look at them. And then you can see in the second row, lack of clarity and detail. The next row, missing. They didn't finish. And then, or the ones at the bottom didn't finish. And so a nice bird's eye view of how students do. And then in beta, or the last time I checked, it was still in beta. It also will offer up some misconceptions. So if you have a whole class of students, it will say, okay, look, from all of their responses, these are the most significant misconceptions. So this one was, I think they didn't include the units squared, right? So if you're a math teacher, of course, they forget the units, they forget to give the item. So that is a really nice, it gathers up all the misconceptions and just uses the AI to say, these are the biggest issues that your kids are having with this topic. You can add a co-teacher. There's some resources there. The direct link to this deck is going to be in the resources that Kyle sends out at the end. Thank you. See you in the next one. Hi, Charity.